The two-way roster spots are also a weird, flimsy part of the coach GM dynamic where coaches have a lot more say in terms of who gets those two-way spots being promoted for the G League. So that's a Steve Kerr thing right there. And in 2023, he had a crutch, Ty Jerome. In 2022, he did not. So you saw Jordan Poole getting big minutes as a point guard. You saw, again, Klay Thompson came back. Draymond Green was still more of a point guard. Steve Kerr had no crutches on that team. When he has a crutch, you should start sweating and getting nervous because he will go to the players that makes no damn sense, and the results, unfortunately, are the way they are. Anything else on your mind, brother? Where are you, by the way? Where in the world are you? Where are you joining us from?
I'm in the Bay Area. I live in Tracy, though, right now.
So, Tracy?
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Welcome. Tracy's blown up, dude. Do you still have that program in Tracy, by the way, where all the residents get like free money? Didn't they have some plan there where if you live in Tracy, like you get like a check from the government? No?
I have no idea, but that sounds great. I'm going to have to look into that.
You look into that because I remember a few years ago, at least, they had some program where everyone was getting like a stipend from the government. It was like just a free check, dude, just to live. And I'm like, whoa, Tracy, all right. That's some progress right there.
I'm going to have to look into that.
Yeah,
but
please do.
I thought Jonathan Kuminga and Jimmy Butler, outside of Steph Curry, are two of my favorite players in the league. And I know Jonathan Kuminga is still young. He has so much potential and upside, but we don't know how to develop players, especially young players. We did it with James Wiseman. We did it with a plethora of younger guys, even in the bubble year. You know what I'm saying? Amari Spellman and Eric Paschal out of Villanova. We had a lot of talent, and we just kind of let them slip through the cracks. Jordan Poole helped us win a championship. You mean to tell me Brandon Podziemski is better than Jordan Poole? Are you out of your mind? Come on, man. He plays more minutes than anybody on the team, and he takes this. I think he leads second leader in shot attempts. And let's be honest. Brandon Podziemski is not really a great shot creator. And he's not really a great passer either as a point guard. He's not really he averages like a lot of turnovers. I'm talking about on simple passes. He can't make a simple pocket pass. You know what I'm saying? And that's bad. Jordan Poole can make all of the passes. He was pretty much like a second Steph Curry out there, to be honest with you. Like his bandwidth on the court, him being able to create shots for himself and others, that's when you've seen the Andrew Wiggins and the Jonathan Kumingas thrive when you had Jordan Poole on the court with them because they had such a synergy and a chemistry. It was crazy, and that's what helped us win that championship. This year, you're adding Jimmy Butler. You're taking out Andrew Wiggins. I love Jimmy Butler, but he's a little bit too conservative. He's too passive.
Sometimes he's a player.
I need you to. He turns down wide open layups to throw the ball out to Brandon Podziemski for a contested three. That's a low IQ play from a veteran player who's pretty damn smart and has a high IQ. So, and Kerr does less coaching. He just allows these players, he gives them so much freedom. That's why we average so many turnovers. It's too much freedom. Greg Popovich would never, he will pull Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili. He will light a fire under them on national television.
Good call on that. No, you're right. That's a great point.
So where's the accountability at? Draymond Green, that's inexcusable for you to be trying to throw these dumb passes. Steph Curry, too. He don't get no pass. You're a veteran player. You got 10 plus years of service in the league, 4 championships, finals MVPs, regular season MVPs. What's up with these dumbass passes we trying to throw? And we're trying to force feed Steph Curry when we can play in the mid-range game. Jimmy Butler, Jonathan Kuminga are unstoppable in the mid-range game.
Yes, sir.
So like I always like to say, less is more. Stop taking so many damn threes. Steph Curry was 5 for 14 in threes. But guess what? He was 12 for 24 overall. He was 50% from the field, but 14 of them damn 24 shots was threes. Less is more. Get to the mid-range, attack the basket. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you don't even have to attack the basket to try to score a layup, just like Steve Nash used to do. Just get into that paint area, suck the defense in. Now you have wide open shooters who can shoot in rhythm. You get what I'm saying? So
I do. No, you're rolling here, dude. I don't want to cut you off, but Brian Leonga, he's a guest. He's a part of this show, and I don't want to keep him waiting any longer. But before you go, promote your channel, dude. How can people watch your streams during games when you're doing that? Because I'm
Oh,
intrigued.
just hit the notification bell, subscribe at your own leisure. You know
Subscribe
what
to
I'm saying?
what?
Like everything. So it's the real Elise. That's my channel. So
Okay, so if people just search for does the word "the" have to be in there, or is it? Can you just do?
yes, yep,
Okay, so
exactly how it
the
is.
real
The real, yeah, and
Elise.
it's the Kobe, and you'll see the Kobe symbol since
All
that's my
right,
favorite.
sounds good. Dude, you come back, please. I appreciate you, man. Those are
Always, always. I
all
love
great.
what you're doing, man. Salute
Thank
to
you,
you.
brother. Right back at you. I'm going to check you out, man, so I can give you some feedback on some positive feedback on your channel as well. Great to meet you, man. Have a great night. Coming to us from Tracy and coming to us from Chase Center, Ryan Leong. You can follow him on Twitter at Ryan Leong. It's super easy. Ryan, that was a disaster. I don't know how to spin that. Your reaction and tell us about the mood. Tell us about everything from your perspective of this very disappointing game tonight.
Well, as you know, I always go to the visitors, so they were just thrilled on the Spurs side of things. Starting with the coach, who I tell you, it's a breath of fresh air to talk to somebody who actually doesn't mind talking to the media, and that being Mitch Johnson, right? He's the interim coach while Greg Popovich, who I don't think is coming back, by the way. I mean, the guy had a stroke. He's 76 years old. I mean, or 77, right? He's at a point now where. I just think his time has come. I just think that what's going to happen with him is the Spurs will wait until the offseason and probably have some really nice retirement ceremony, and he rides off into the sunset.
And by the way, real fast, Nikosh and Golden State Niners, sit tight. I'm going to bring you on the show, I promise. Thank you for waiting. Yeah, Greg Popovich. Look, I think there was a story that came out a couple weeks ago that indicated the severity of his stroke.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was bedridden. He was like crippled, if that's even a word that people use. I mean, but he was partly handicapped. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Bedridden is probably the nicest way to put it, like you said.
Yeah, so this hit him. This was a very serious stroke, and I've been around it, and I saw my mom literally suffer a stroke right in front of me. It's not a fun experience. Thankfully, she ended up being okay, but it's unfortunate for Pop. With all that said, man, I mean, you were there during the game. Like, what was the fan reaction? I mean, what was the mood of that arena watching this?
It was stunned silence watching Harrison Barnes make that three because, as you know, it happened before. Against Sacramento, remember where like Draymond said Harrison couldn't make the three, and he couldn't back then. And he did talk to us post game. He did admit that he's a much better 3-point shooter now. It's part of his game. He did admit that and I was surprised because I was actually asking a follow up to Jeff McDonald, who's the Spurs beat writer, and I was able to ask a follow up, asking him, hey, what does it mean for you to finally beat the Warriors on a game winner? Because you've had chances in the past and not done it, and this is the first time where he made the shot, and he made a hell of a shot. But like your previous guy who was on, what was his name, by the way? The guy that was just on?
Elise?
Yeah, he was good because he's right. I mean, Butler is not playing with enough aggressive. Even in that last play, I mean, granted, you don't want to foul Harrison Barnes, but he gave him a lot of room. One of the guys I work with in the media, he got a shot of it on a cell phone, and he's got a good like gimbal. So I was able to watch it over and over and over again, and he had a good arm's length of distance for him to make that 3-pointer and just nail it.
I would play the highlight, but I thought I figured out a circumvention for playing highlights on this program. I did not. The NBA, for whatever reason, with me is very punitive. Otherwise, I'd play that highlight. But you're right, man. Jimmy Butler was the assigned defender on that Harrison Barnes 3, and he gave him way too much space. I'm trying to find Harrison Barnes' stats on the season because you're right. I was hearing Bob Fitzgerald on the broadcast tonight mention that Harrison Barnes on the year has grossly improved as a 3-point shooter. I have their stats down in front of me. So Harrison Barnes on the season is Jesus. Oh my God, dude. This is Harrison Barnes on the year is shooting 43.1% from three.
And he was 6 of 9 tonight. So
Jesus Christ. That's
crazy. So I'll just say this. So like, cause in the past when I talked to him, Harrison Barnes was kind of dismissive to me. But he didn't, like tonight, he didn't hold back. He was very honest and forthright in saying, hey, it does mean a lot for him to like be able to kind of come through. I mean, he didn't quite say that, but you could tell he's happy that he was able to kind of stick it to the Warriors. You know what I mean? Because
and Draymond Green. I mean, Harrison Barnes, there's no love lost between those two either. So he's always got a little extra motivational juice when he sees Draymond. Ryan, this was obviously a heartbreaker, and I texted a couple of the beat writers. I don't know if they asked, but I texted two of the folks who regularly cover the Golden State Warriors. Please ask Steve Kerr why Jonathan Kuminga was given the shaft in terms of minutes. especially in the fourth quarter. He only played 2 minutes, did not finish the game, only played 18 minutes throughout. On a night where I feel like his defense would have been welcomed, the easy buckets he brings offensively would have been welcomed. What did you see there, man? Like, was there even communication? Like, did Kerr and Kuminga talk at all, or was
no?
This
I don't
just...
see that. I don't usually see that. What I was paying attention to was there's a couple plays, maybe you saw it too, where Draymond got beaten on the court on a couple of fast breaks by Keldon Johnson. Did you see that?
Keldon Johnson turns into an all-star when he sees the
Warriors
burned every time.
Draymond twice on these plays where he just like went right around him, right, for the layup. I mean, just like coast to coast. When I saw that, I was like, you could tell that's where Draymond's losing a step. Am I wrong or no?
Well, I wasn't going to go there. I just thought, I mean,
I don't. I'll say this much. He certainly had him. He certainly had him turned around. You know what I mean?
You had him beat. Look, Keldon Johnson, again, 8 of 17 shooting from the field tonight. He had 21 points. The Spurs had like a handful of scorers. Like Harrison Barnes had 20, Stephen Castle, 21. Chris Paul was having a good game tonight. He had 12 points. The Spurs were 18 of 46 shooting from deep. Chris Paul, 3 of 5 shooting from three. Right. Champagny, 14 points, 3 of 7 shooting from deep from him.
Yeah, you know what? I think about it. I say this. You're right. I was going to say last step, but they definitely had the Warriors were definitely discombobulated in those final few minutes.
But in your mind, Ryan, as someone who was at the arena tonight, as someone who's around this team always when they're home, like what's going on with the Kuminga minutes, man? Because I feel like there's a breaking point here. It's either got to be Kerr or Kuminga gone after this season. This is not a sustainable relationship. It saddens me that this team has the personnel to win a championship, but a coach who is being petty with one of his young players. What are you seeing from this, man? Because this is not sustainable.
Well, I mean, I'm seeing what you're seeing as far as like, I mean, I don't really look to the bench as much. Maybe I could do that more for the next game when I'm here on Sunday, but it's definitely Kerr's team. I mean, Kerr is the coach. So it's kind of funny because you look at what's been happening with Memphis and with Denver, and those guys are gone and they're right in the thick of it. I mean, I've never seen that before. You ever seen anything like that?
None of us
have. Like a lock for the playoffs, and you're fine. I mean, Denver's going to be in. I think they're in deep shit. I mean, like
maybe
how do you fire your coach and your GM with the players about to start?
It's crazy. And again, I don't know. I haven't had a chance to really look into it, but did Jokic, was he asked about that? Like, because I've been dying to know what his thoughts are. Like,
I think he has, but all I know is the rumors are out there that he didn't like how the team was playing defensively, and there's a lot of talk that he may end up going to the Lakers next year.
I've heard that chatter too.
Right. So,
would that surprise you? Would not surprise me, because the Lakers are just literally a charity that is given free, stuff every season. It's a joke what the NBA does for that franchise in terms of the favoritism.
Yeah.
It's outrageous, but it is crazy. And we know Joe Lacob likes Jonathan Kuminga, so I can't imagine he's stoked about what's going down here. And then you have the flip side of this in terms of the youngsters, which is Brandon Pajemski, who has been on a tear lately, but not tonight. Tonight was not a good game for him on either side of the ball. What did you see?
Yeah. No, I mean, I just know he was ineffective tonight. I mean, it was, and then the other guy who was on before me as well made a good point. I think Steph's fallen a little bit too much in love with his threes. I really think he's gotten to the point where, he knows he hit 300 again tonight. He does his pregame routine. I think it's gotten to the point now where he is kind of, maybe another thing too. I thought of, you notice too, maybe because Curry knows he never gets any calls. He's getting tired of getting clobbered.
God damn, that sucks. You're right. That might be part of it too.
I mean, and it's funny because the guy brought that up because he makes a really good point. I noticed that tonight. I noticed there's times where like there's a little bit of space, but Curry's like, nope, I'm going to shoot a 3 right here, and he shoots some bad threes now. I mean, like I said, taking 14 and only making 5. I mean, that's pretty bad percentage. Good. And he's doing a lot more of that. I've seen it in the last few games where I like I said, all the years that we've seen him play, he's always getting clobbered whenever he tries to go into the paint. And I think maybe he's just kind of getting fed up with it. It almost kind of reminds me of like Colin Kaepernick. Didn't Colin Kaepernick with the Niners have the same issue where he was, he used to run more, and then it got to a point where he stopped running because maybe they just don't want to take the punishment that comes with it.
I don't know. That's a good point. I don't know. I've never really thought about that, but you might be right on it. By the way,
but I said the other guy was on. He makes a really good point. I've noticed that with Curry more in the last few. I would say in the last month, I'm seeing a lot more games where Curry's just trying to just launch threes. And then of course he's arguably the greatest shooter that's ever played. I mean his statistics prove it. But at the same time, it's like no shot's going to be good if it can't be a high percentage shot.
Armando Lara in the chat, Golden Dazer says the thing that worries me is that they're not developing their postseason lineups. Like, and I agree. Like, we have no idea what the rotations are going to be for the postseason. We don't know who's going to play when or where. And the fact that we're this late in the season and still we're not seeing stability on that front is very disconcerting. J Dub betting his life that the Warriors will never win a title again in the Steve Kerr era. That's bold. Do you mind if we bring on some guests, Ryan, while you're here?
No, that's fine. Yeah, we can banter back and forth a little bit.
Yeah. All right. So Nikosh and then Golden State 49er, our last two audience members on the night, joined the program. Nikosh, you're up first. I read your chat, which said you got to get some shit off your chest. Go ahead.
I do, Sai. And
Great
you
to
know,
see you, man.
like, hey, good to see you too. I'm just out and about right now in the streets of Oakland.
You're wandering. That's what someone who feels lost does, right? You just wander the streets.
Yeah, for real, dude. I feel that way. And
what street? San
like,
Francisco? Where are you? What city?
Oakland. He said Oakland.
Oakland. I'm in Oakland. Yeah, I'm on.
Are you brave, man? Hopefully you're in a good part of Oakland.
Stay safe. Stay safe.
I think, I think at this point, most of Oakland is gentrified, but
you're right. That's fair.
Okay.
There's still some rough parts, though.
Not every part. Ryan's right about that. You know.
Yeah, I don't know. And 10:53 at night, just
exactly. Be safe, man. Be safe.
I'll be safe.
Ahead,
I appreciate y'all looking out for me. No, I mean, like, all I really want to talk about is Kuminga and the fit, because it seems like the honeymoon period before Kuminga joined was going great. We had everything figured out. And I think if you look at our record post Kuminga's injury, it's not been as good. And to me, it's and I'm not really sure why it is. I mean, I have a lot of theories, but being an outsider,
theories? Let's hear
my theory. Well, the first thing that Sai, I heard you talking about this throughout your show, is like, hey, did Kerr and Kuminga have any conversations? Did they have any dialogue? And I think the answer is obviously no. They've been dialoguing through the media this entire time, right?
Yeah,
over the years. Kerr has been speaking to Kuminga through the media. Kuminga has been speaking to Kerr through the media. And that is never a good sign. That's not healthy.
No, it's not.
I'm a diehard Warriors fan. I ride or die with this team. The moment I saw the Jimmy Butler trade, I put $100 on the Warriors plus 7,000 odds. Okay, so I have some real money riding on them, and I still think that they could get it done.
Look, I'm not saying they're not going to win the championship, but I can't sit here and guarantee it anymore, man. I can't guarantee it either.
I was with you, Sat. I was so with you. I was so with you that they were going to win the chip. Like, it looked so great, and now I'm seeing the roster get messed up. I'm seeing the rotations get messed up. I saw your thread or whatever, or tweet or whatever. You're like, these rotations are driving me crazy, and it's like, it's driving me crazy too. I see who's on the court. I can't even, I was afraid to watch this game. Okay, I didn't watch the game. I was so scared. I was like
the whole game or like the end?
Both. I started watching the game, and then I turned it off when I saw the first rotations come in, and then I hopped back in. Like, I was watching it in spurts, and I was like, I don't even want to know what Kerr is doing, because I know it can't be good. And I don't hate Kerr. I think he's a fabulous coach. I
don't hate him either. I that's a strong word, man.
Sorry, I didn't mean to use the word hate, but it's like, I don't even think he's not a good coach. I think he's a great coach. It's just, for this particular situation and the way that this team particularly is constructed, I don't think he's doing the best job. And I think that it's not that difficult to do a good job. You just got to play Kuminga. And
Nikosh, so let me stop you for 1 second here, because you're absolutely right. This is not rocket science. I guess that's part of the reason why I have a hard time sometimes just stomaching this. It's like, this is not overly complicated. It's actually pretty simple in terms of the players you have and who to play when. But this guy makes it complicated. This guy makes it so much more difficult than it should be. And
I mean, maybe, you know what? I was going to say, you know what, real quick, Cyrus, maybe it's because Kerr played under certain coaches, and maybe that's kind of clouding his judgment a little bit. I mean, I remember he played under Phil Jackson. He played under Greg Popovich,
Yeah.
It's like maybe
and I think that he's a role player, right? Like Kerr has been a role player his whole life.
Right. He was a role player, but what I'm saying is, I think in playing under those guys, though, it's almost like he's trying to figure out some way to try to reinvent the wheel. Maybe.
I love you guys. Let me know what you think about this take, because I said this with Damon Bruce this morning, and I don't know. You tell me if you think this is accurate or not. I feel like Steve Kerr is a great coach for a veteran team, and we've seen that. We saw what he did when he took over. But he's not a good coach for a 2-timeline approach. This is not his cup of tea. Like developing young players and trying to get them ready. I haven't seen any evidence that substantiates he's the right guy.
He's already done that. Maybe this too. He's already done that before when he got the Warriors when he first became the coach, right? And that's like a decade now. It's crazy, but it's 10 years. And maybe in the 10 years time. It's interesting because, like, you look at for the longest time, a guy like Popovich was at the top of his game, right? And of course, the last few years have been tough, and now, of course, he's dealing with a stroke. But at some point, I think everybody kind of goes through their peak period, and maybe for Kerr, I don't want to say it's past, but maybe he did reach that peak a few years ago,
or maybe he just never really had a peak. I don't know.
No, he did. He definitely had a peak. There's no question.
Well, Ryan, I've been bringing this up. I started digging deep into the archives. Like I look back at the because one of the series that always popped up in my mind in terms of Kerr, like in the early days, making a lot of mistakes, like fallacies, if you will. That Houston Rockets series, the 2018 Western Conference Finals, that was a series that the Warriors should have taken care of business easily.
Should have been 5-6 games.
Have been a 7-game series.
The one where Curry slipped and hurt himself, though, didn't he?
No, Andre. But he kept playing. He was fine, but it was more so. No, I think that was the previous year. This was more so. Andre Iguodala got hurt, right? And I think this was after Game 3 or during Game 3. But you look at the box scores of those games, right? And you had JaVale McGee still in his prime, getting DNP'd for all but one game in garbage time. You had David West still on the team, getting DNP'd almost every game. You had Zaza Pachulia getting DNP'd almost every game. He was older at that point, but still. Meanwhile, Swaggy P's getting like 30, 35 minutes.
Oh, yeah. No, I remember that. I remember that guy got way too many minutes.
Quinn Cook was getting a good chunk of minutes.
I'll never forget that Swaggy P was that guy was so overrated. I mean,
who was getting minutes as their small ball 5 instead of JaVale McGee and David West? Jordan Bell. This is nothing new. Like he's been doing this for a long time.
Yeah,
he just had so much talent that it was easy to mask all these quirks that are now really glaring when you don't have a stacked team. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? I'm sorry, but
real quick, I was just gonna say I remember I came on your show like maybe months ago, Sai, and I talked about like the issues with a system coach, a coach that is so stuck in their system that they're not able to adapt to the players around them. And I think that issue is going to be the make or break for this Warriors team. Sir. I don't even think it's about young players versus veterans, because there are examples of Kerr playing young players more than certain veterans. Example, Pods, whether it be Jordan Bell, whoever it is, right? It's just like the player that fits his system versus doesn't. Kuminga doesn't fit his system. We know that. And I'm not trying to, take the blame away from Kuminga. I think that he needs to do better as well. At this point, 4 years in, if he wants to be here, he's got to fit in. He's got to do the things that Kerr wants him to do. Otherwise, why are you here? Why didn't you force your way out?
What do you think he's not doing that Kerr wants him to do? I mean,
I think that a lot of it is, like people come on to your channel and they say like, Kuminga doesn't have basketball IQ. I think that is a simplification, but it is a simplification. But at the same time, he isn't elite at these off-ball things where when you don't have the ball, when the cameras are not pointed at you, what are you doing? And he's not the best in those moments. But to me, it doesn't matter. None of that really matters, because it should have been either figured out by now or Kuminga should be gone. Right? It should be one of those two things. And the fact that we're still in this gray area, like you were talking to Damon about this earlier in your show, like, shit, we should just fire Kerr at this point, or not, or fire Kuminga, right? Like something. I don't do something, right? And I thought that the Jimmy Butler trade was that, and that's why I placed the bet on them. I was like, ooh, I saw the first 10 games and I was swayed. I got on my fandom and I was like, oh, we're going to win it all this year. The league is wide open. this year. There's nobody good in the league this year.
Which is why I'm so frustrated, because the Warriors,
so
to me, have the talent to win a championship this year. Do they have the coach for it?
More than enough talent. It's just the system, and it's. I think now I'm hopeless. I'm like, I was convinced up until yesterday that we were going to win the championship, and now I'm like back to zero.
Well, that's why. And again, you can make fun of me, and I get it, for me just pulling back on my guarantee. But again, when you see this and the coach and what he's doing, everything that was working in those 3 games, Memphis, the Lakers, and the Nuggets, he just abandoned it in that Rockets game, and he used the excuse of exhaustion. Okay, great. What's your excuse now? This is now 2 losses in 3 games.
It's like your comfort player. As soon as the going gets tough, you just go back to your comfort zone. Like your small ball comfort thing, where you're like, I know this product on the court is gonna behave a certain way, so I'm just gonna go to it. But that's a
really good point. That's a really good point. I don't think there's any other better way to quantify it than what you just said. That he just has a certain comfort level and he just goes with it, even though it's probably not going to work. It's almost like this Charlie Brown in the football. I don't know why he thinks that, hey, maybe this time, Charlie Brown kicked the football. It never happens. But
it never happens.
Going back to it.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
Nikosh, you killed it tonight. Stay safe. Any final thoughts before we let you go?
No, I apprate y'all. Cyrus, I'm on board with everything that you're saying.
Thank you,
I feel like you really speak to the fans that have that are fans of the team, but at the same time have an objective lens to what's going on. And I'm a diehard fan. I put my own personal money on the Warriors to win the chip after Jimmy Butler. I was swayed. But
I respect that, by the way. I respect that, because look, a lot of people talk a lot of shit, and a lot of people talk a big game. Not a lot of people put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah.
That's one of many reasons why the gambling side of this I love. Because really, you believe that? You're going to predict that? Put your damn money where your mouth is. And Nikosh, you actually did.
Hey, who's your bookie? Who's your bookie, Sai? Give him a shout out.
DM me. I'll tell you.
I got you. Oh, I got you.
DM
but, or who's your sponsor? I meant the sponsor for the channel is Bet Online or something.
But, my bookie. Duh. My bookie. Yeah, so there you go. My bookies is who I roll with. I'm sorry, I should have said that from the beginning. Yeah, they were currently sponsoring this show. My bookie, go to them and use the promo code MM50 if you do. But yeah, I was Damon this morning. We looked at the odds, and so you got it at plus 7,000. I think now it's at plus 1,200.
Yeah, I got him a week after they traded for Butler. Like a week after, I think it was 2 games in, and I was convinced. But it's even more heartbreaking now. It was less heartbreaking before when the Warriors were throwing the season. I was like, okay, it's fine. It's just another throwing season. We'll try again next year. We'll ship Kuminga off in the summer. We're not going to extend him, and we'll figure it out. We'll give Kerr the things that he needs to coach this team. But because of this run, I've gotten my hopes up, and it's they're playing with my emotions at this point, right? And that makes me more mad, because I'm like, how are you gonna do this and then not play Kuminga and then not play the best
What was the old line from Friday with Big Worm? Playing with my money? It's like playing with my emotions.
Playing with my money, dude. Playing with my freaking emotions, man. Come on, and I feel like it's not just me. If I'm feeling this way, I'm sure the entire Bay Area is feeling this way. So, it can't just
Ryan, are you feeling this way?
About what? Being frustrated, you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it is frustrating. Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I almost don't even pay attention to it at the time, because I'm too busy watching the game. But I look at the box score later, and I'm like, I look at who played and who didn't, and I always wonder who didn't, why didn't they play more? And then the guys that did play, I'm like, why did these guys get so many minutes?
And dude, Buddy
Hield. I mean, I got to admit, Buddy Hield tonight, right? Buddy Hield. All of his shots were threes, the ones that he made.
Correct.
But
he was 0 of 3 inside the arc tonight.
Yeah.
0 of 3. Yeah. Make sense.
But what's funny is you guys remember? You guys saw that viral video, right, where Steve Kerr
and Buddy Hield. Yeah.
Meet Steph Curry. I mean, he already knows that Buddy Hield is a very what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe a challenging player to coach.
Undisciplined.
He
does
listen,
a lot of things.
Doesn't listen well. If he has to sarcastically kind of troll.
But I love you, man. But I love you. I wish he spoke like that to the youngsters. That was the thought that was running through my head.
That was so corny.
Right. Because all it did, besides create a viral video, it didn't do anything.
Man, you corny.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's corny. I think all that happened out of that was it was a viral moment. That's all it turned into.
It was.
It was for the cameras.
That's it, right?
Too much of the shit is for the cameras, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's just put our best players on the court and let's try to maximize everyone's ability so we can win these games.
Yeah. The one point I like to make seriously, the whole season, I'm really, and that the longer I've been on with you, Cyrus, if you ask me the one player I always question why is he getting minutes, it's Buddy Hield.
Fair.
It's Buddy Hield. I'm like, why is this guy getting minutes? What's he doing out there? He's not providing much of anything else when you think about it.
No.
He's the threat, right? It's because the whole Kerr offense relies on you being an elite shooter to get these spaces, right? And so, like, Kerr thinks that Buddy Hield is still going to get these spaces. And, yeah, he does to some extent. But when he's not hitting shots and when he's turning the ball over and he's a pull on defense, it doesn't work. You got to adjust.
More often than not. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Alan in the chat saying Buddy
true.
Hield gives the
Instant
other
hope.
team instant hope.
Yeah. No, it's true. It is frustrating watching him because he just doesn't. I mean, I can see why the Kings and other teams let this guy go. It's like, he's not.
And the Pacers, yeah. Oh, Nikosh, you killed it tonight, brother. Good luck.
I appreciate you.
I'm rooting for that plus 7,000. Get your ass on the show again soon, okay?
I hope so too. Let's hope that Kirk comes through and plays the right guys. And
is it too personal of a question to ask how much you dropped?
I dropped $200. So I got a what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got a 5-figure check. Coming my way. I got like 13, 14,000 coming my way if they win the title. But
holy shit.
I don't believe it anymore.
That's not a bad risk. I mean, to be honest,
No.
I mean, $2 I know it's $2, but still that's a
Wait
good.
a second. $200 times 7,000?
Yeah.
No. Hold on a second. Hold on. You got plus 7,000.
Yeah.
And you put $200 down on that.
Yes, sir.
You're gonna make a lot more than you think, dude. Like plus 7,000.
I'm gonna make about like 5 figures.
So we do what? 700 times 200, right? Isn't that
it's
what we?
$14,000.
Yeah.
I think it's 140,000. You're gonna get.
No, 14,000. It's 100 to win 7,000. So I put 200, so I'll get double that.
So 14,000. That's still good. Hey, that's still a great payoff.
Hey, I'm shit.
Yeah, he's
but
like,
but I've got no hope now. I'll tell you, I got no expectations now. I had a lot of expectations before, but I was feeling hella good. I might even cash out now. Honestly, I might have to cash out.
Look,
that's the way I'm feeling.
Yeah, that's a big time crapshoot for the Warriors now. That's for damn sure.
I don't know. All I'm saying is my calculator right here. I'm multiplying 200 by 700, and it comes out
It's 2 times 7,000.
Yeah, 2 times 7,000. Yeah, I get it.
Why just 2? You put 200.
So when you say the plus whatever number, it's $100 to win that amount. So it would be $100 to win 7,000, and then I'll put 200 to win 7,000 times 2.
But the way the math works, it's not normally 100 for 7,000. Normally it's $1.
So then it would be, I think it would be like a plus 70 or something like that. I got to
think about this. Because I feel like you're going to win a lot more than what you're saying. Well, I could be wrong on that, but
I do.
Regardless,
so, but
good luck.
Good
luck.
Yeah,
I'm rooting for you, man.
Thank you.
Because that's to get that payday is that would be huge.
I'm rooting for these Warriors. I do think they could do it. They have all the talent to do it. They have the players and the system to do it. I do believe in the system. They've just got to put it together. It's just like got to put everything together. And if they do, the league is wide open. There's nobody. There's no one there to stop them. So if they get it all done, if they put it together, I think it's a done deal. But if the media and like all these other factors like Kuminga's paycheck in the summer and Kerr's feelings come into play, then we're screwed.
Okay, but this guy makes a good point. RA's point is good, but it's also true because he's not in the right headspace because he's always worried that if he makes one mistake, Kerr's going to bench him. Right?
He's looking over his shoulder constantly. Yeah. It's just unless Kerr like backs off and does the right thing, which I don't think he's going to do. This is just a doomed relationship, man. This is bad. This is very
looking
bad.
grim.
The one thing I've noticed also, Cyrus, when I only go to Kerr's pregame presser, but he does speak like a very confident person who still has a lot of control in the organization.
Yes,
he's media trained, but yeah.
Well, not only, but that's just a media trained, but he does tell people that he feels he's in a good place. But obviously, the owners are still the owners, and he's not the owner. So I mean that could change at some point.
I hope. By the way, Heel EK, who shows this program a lot of love, I want to mention this because I haven't done it yet. If the Warriors don't win the championship, because I've been saving this episode where Steve Kerr's gut has gone wrong, and I've compiled this massive list of like every instance where Steve Kerr relied on his intuition and it failed miserably. If the Warriors don't win the title, I'm going to do, who's the guy that did the filibuster? There was some politician that did like a 24-hour filibuster. Was it Cory Booker, senator of New Jersey? I'm going to do the same thing. We will have a 24-hour show where I might take like, 1 or 2 minute breaks here and there, 24 hours straight, sometime in the summer. We're just going to blast Steve Kerr for a whole 24 hours straight.
That'd be amazing. You stay up that long, man. That's a long time.
I'm gonna try. That's a long time. I'm gonna do it, man.
I'm so down for it. I'm so down.
I'm gonna do it.
So
and
I won't watch the whole thing, but I'll pop in. And
you don't have to. You don't have to watch anything.
I will pop in as well, Cyrus.
Yeah, I'll pop in at different times. Okay, 10 hours in, I'll pop in. 20 hours in,
I'll do a Steve Kerr filibuster, and we're gonna start it. I don't know what time we'll start it, but yeah, just 24 hours, dude. I'm gonna suck it up. And
Anthony Lamb, you guys, is the bane of my existence. Okay, he represents everything wrong with the last couple of years. And like, he's not a good person either. So I don't even have to feel bad about it for like, speaking down on somebody who's like trying to earn his living. I don't give a shit. But
he's retired. He's retired now anyways, but yeah.
It's horrible. And he's the epitome of everything wrong with what's been going on in the last couple of years. And I do hope that, we're going to put it together. Everything is there. All the tools are there, but it's got to come together, from ownership to players to Kuminga to the ball boys to Kerr. The whole deal, it has to come together. They have to have like some sort of, moment where they just come together. Some sort of, anyways, I can't think of the word. What's the deal when like you're like addicted to something and you have to have like an intervention? Sorry, the word I'm looking for is an intervention. There has to be some sort of intervention, And if it doesn't happen before the playoffs, I think we're cooked. But we have everything, and I'll always believe that this year we should have won everything. Just like I believe that the year we went 73-9, we should have gotten a title then. They stole a championship from us, and I'm trying to get my get back. So I think we're owed one, and I do hope that it's this year.
And I really hope you pocket that $14,000. G Martinez is right. Sorry for my head being screwy there for a second there with the math. And I'm usually pretty good with numbers. Congratulations in advance, even though maybe I shouldn't say that. I'll knock on wood. How about this?
Don't jinx me. I've been jinxing myself too much.
I want you to win, man. I'm rooting for you. Good luck. And come back soon, brother. Have a great night.
Thank you, Ryan, too, for all the reporting. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Cy. Have a great night.
You too, brother. You too. Coming to us live from the streets of Oakland. Ryan, do you mind if we listen to Stephen Curry?
Yeah, I'm afraid have to take off here in about 5 minutes, but yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so Stephen Curry. Wait, actually, no. Let's listen to this first. This is Steve Kerr. And turn the volume up on your devices, please. Anthony Slater published this, which means the audio will likely not be good. But I'm curious to hear what Steve Kerr has to say about the non-Stephen Curry minutes tonight, where the Warriors were minus 16 collectively when Steph was off the floor. And Steve Kerr was asked about this. So let's hear from the head coach of the Golden State Warriors, Steve Kerr, about those non-Steph minutes. And Ryan, and after we listen to this, I'd love to get your thoughts on the topic as well, because this was the second of a back-to-back, and I was envisioning the youngsters, the bench players, having a much bigger role tonight. The minutes did not correlate there. Let's hear what Steve Kerr has to say.
You were minus 16 in the non-Steph minutes. How significant was that?
Huge. I thought that was key to the game. Top of the second, top of the fourth. We played two great quarters tonight, first quarter and third quarter. And then both of those quarters, top second, top four, they blitzed us. I think they went 19-3 in the second quarter. And then to go into the fourth with a 12-point lead and immediate, I think it was maybe a 12-4 start, in the fourth. And those were the two key stretches of the game.
You had three. You were minus.
So all he did was just tell us like stats. Like, Brian, did you hear an answer there? Or
well, I'll say this: I just feel like he looks like he has kind of a deer in the headlights look. Don't you think?
Yes. Yeah. Well, and the question was like about those non-Steph minutes, and he's like, "Yeah, well, we started the second and fourth quarters with these bad runs, and yeah." Next question: Okay, like all he do is just repeat what the question was. That's ridiculous. You want to hear from Ryan? Do you have time for one more person to join us?
I probably should get going unless you want to play that Curry thing real quick.
Okay, so Golden State Niner, you will be with me. Yeah, let's listen to this cut real fast. This is Stephen Curry. Let me pull that up real fast here.
I can stay later on Sunday.
Okay, good. Sounds good. And look, we're already going late, man. I mean, it's just there's a lot to talk about here. So here's Stephen Curry talking about late game executions and costly turnovers. Stephen Curry clearly has a lot of influence and power on this team. If there's one person who could put Steve Kerr in check, it would be Stephen Curry. And maybe that's what needs to happen here. Maybe Steph needs to have a good long talk with his head coach to remind him that what he's doing is nonsensical. Here is Stephen Curry.
Two of them were just bad spacing. Mine was just a bad pass. Like, we were trying to set up a play to get Jimmy the ball and then have some action around. And, HB was kind of all over him. I tried to tuck it in there low so he could get it, but he got a deflection. That stuff happens. Tough timing, obviously. But it honestly shouldn't come down to those three possessions, even though we still had a chance to win because we played well enough for stretches, majority of the game, to create separation, give ourselves or, maintain the momentum. But again, when you give come down to a possession here, possession there down the stretch, anything can happen in this league.
All right, and that was Stephen Curry. A couple paid chats, Ryan, and then we'll get your final thoughts here real fast. Hot Dog Man 200 drops $2 saying, why do we suck so much when the opposition is undermanned? I think what he's trying to say here, Ryan, is why do the Warriors oftentimes play down to the level of lesser opponents? We have seen that a lot lately. Ryan, do you have any theories on that?
Yes, I do. I just think the Warriors, ever since even this dates back to Steve Kerr's first year, the Warriors tend to lack focus. Period.
Tonight was
no. They tend to lack focus. It doesn't matter. I mean, like, here's a good example. They always play a game where, like, okay, they got beat against the Rockets, right? What did they do last night? They come out and they kick the crap out of the Suns, right? But they don't keep that focus.
Yes.
So now they'll come back and they'll play Portland really tough on Friday, right? And Sunday, I'm assuming they're going to come out with the same intensity. But the problem with the Warriors is they're not consistent. They've always had problems with focus. And this goes back.
You're right.
As far back as like when Kerr first got here.
You're right.
Maybe even goes back even further when Mark Jackson was coaching. The Warriors just tend to lend their foot off the gas. That's a huge reason why I thought we would see more of the youngsters tonight. Why I thought Kerr was going to dip into the bench tonight because of the back-to-back, because of an issue like that potentially happening. But Kerr doubled down on the vets. But the team had a 14-point lead. It's at 12 points at the start of the fourth quarter, and they just kept coasting. And I don't know why you do that because it just bit him in the ass. God damn it. Well, I'm going to get through these paid chats right here and then go to Golden State Niner here. And Ryan will say bye before Golden State Niner. Coast to Coast, $9.99 saying, why can't LeCobb? Who's LeCobb? Oh, Lacob. So he probably voiced this. So why can't Lacob do what some owners are doing? Fire his smug-faced coach. I'm paraphrasing. I'm trying to get this right. He's not a coach. He should become a shrink. He refuses to have the personnel for these matchups. We deserve to be in the play-in. So Coast to Coast is just he may get his wish. He may get his wish because I think for sure after tonight, the bottom line is the Warriors have to win their last two games and they need to have some help. And you never want a scoreboard watch, and they could have avoided that if they just won tonight and if they'd won Friday and Sunday. And we'll go over that in detail in just a minute here. Bill M, $2 saying Kerr has no effing clue on how to play Kuminga. That is correct. R Jonesy at $1.99 saying the Warriors will beat Denver. You heard it here first. All right, that's if they play in the first round. Nick at $1.99 saying, can you post the link to join? I'm hoping you got that link. I'm guessing that was Nikosh. Ryan 3000 $1.99. Thanks for the therapy. Sorry about the mic. Oh, that he was on earlier. You were fine, Ryan. You did good. Matt Wright, $1.99 saying 26 minutes for Buddy Hield is a goddamn crime. Yep, and exactly. Ryan, you evoked that. I got to run, man. But I will definitely talk to you more on Sunday for sure. It's the last day.
Love you, brother. We'll see you Sunday.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Safe commute. All right. That is Ryan Leong. You can follow him on Twitter at Ryan Leong. Super easy. Have a good night, brother. Armando Lara, the professor, dropping $4.99 saying, who else thinks Podziemski's role gets minimized when things get real in the playoffs? Yes or no? Good question. My guess is no. Steve Kerr, for whatever reason, has already put all his eggs in that basket. He has faith in Podziemski. I could be wrong. It's just a prediction, but I would guess Podziemski's part of the postseason rotation because Kerr and you know how much he loves ball handlers. Golden State 49er, thank you for waiting. You are our last audience member of the night. Great to hopefully meet you. If you're still there, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, sir?
Hey, bud.
Hey, man. It's nice to finally get on here. I've been meaning to.
Sorry
I've been
about that.
listening to you for.
Chronological. Thank you for
No,
waiting.
I meant like the past couple years. I've been listening to you.
Welcome, man.
Yeah,
Welcome.
it's been
I
a
love
while.
your handle because those are my two favorite teams, the Warriors and the Niners. So good stuff.
Yeah, yes, sir. I want to first off say you've definitely grown on me. I despised you back in the day,
Thank you, brother.
but now I definitely
Thank
have
you.
like more. I mean, game knowledge because of you. So thank you.
Thank you.
But I mean, kind of to piggyback on what I feel like everyone else is saying, it's probably going to be a little repetitive because I'm at the end here. But
who cares? Who cares?
Please get Buddy Hield the hell out of here, man. I am so tired of seeing Curry, Pods, and Hield on the floor at the same time. Like I am. It's just it's so frustrating, and I don't know. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And what I thought when Kuminga got injured, what I thought was going to happen was he was going to come back. We got Butler. Kuminga was going to, go under his wing or whatever. I mean, he doesn't even really need to, but I thought, I think Butler's a great kind of player for him because, he locks in on defense. He's locked in on the mid range. I mean, that's just kind of his game, Stay inside. Like, that's your game. Slash and get to the free throw line. Keep doing what you're doing. But it just hasn't happened. And, he just hasn't got the minutes. And it's shitty because I said weeks ago, I did one of those paid comments on your show, and I was like, the only way we are winning the chip is if Moody and Kuminga are, they have roles on this championship run.
What were we going to call Podziemski? Poots?
Yeah, Poots.
I like that. Poots. All right.
Poots. And
Poots.
Pods, I mean, that dude frustrates me. I think the run he's been having has been good, and I think he's a high IQ player. And I think his name was Nakash. Shout out Nakash and E Leezy too. Those are awesome.
Agreed. And you, man, you're killing it so far. Keep going.
Yeah. So Nakash, he said something about the comfort zone. That's like Kerr kind of goes back to his comfort zone. That was like the best way to put it, and I've been trying to put my finger on it for years. I mean, back to freaking. What it was, Quinn Cook and fucking Chioza. Like, oh my goodness, I've been trying to put my finger on it, but that's perfectly explains it. That's really what it is. I feel like Kerr just goes back to his comfort zone and what he knows and what he's comfortable with, and it's frustrating. I mean, I think his name was Armando with the last paid chat. No, I don't think Pods rule will get minimized, which
no.
It's frustrating. I want Pods to be, in the playoffs, we're going to play 9 players, usually how it is 9, 10 if we're lucky. I don't know. Beginning of the year, everyone was like, oh, we have 13.
That was crazy. And side note, I want people to be very aware of this because in terms of my process, when I have an opinion or a take, I never just say it. Like, I run it through a few people I call experts. Rick Barry is one of the obvious ones, but there's also 2 or 3 other individuals. One of them's a former player. Another one's a former coach. And I don't come on this program and just let shit fly out of my mouth without screening it through these other individuals first. There's also a media member as well who I run it through. And I just want that to be clear that any opinion you hear on this program, it's not just me. I'm making sure that that folks I consider to be actual experts are hearing it and not thinking I'm crazy. I just want that to be. I just want that to be known, so people don't think that I'm just sitting here shooting the shit and just making things up left and right. Anyways, with all that said, continue on. You're doing a great job.
I think that's why you kind of grew on me too, because at first I was like, "Damn, this guy is emotional." And definitely subjective. But then, I started listening to you more and got on. It was back on Locked On Warriors,
Yeah.
and everything. And I was like, damn, I mean, everything he's saying is coming true, and
Trying, man. I'm trying. Thank you, though. Thank you.
back to the lineup thing though,
Yeah.
is I wanted Kuminga to come back and get, just get into the role of 6 man. I like him first off the bench. I think he has that energy, but also he has such a short leash that, I mean, how are you going to play I played obviously freaking in high school, nothing serious, but it was the same way. I mean, if you feel like you're going to be pulled, dude, your confidence is shot. I mean, you're
Yeah.
not going to play confident. It's shitty, and I think that goes for all athletes everywhere in any walks of life. It doesn't matter. Not trying to compare high school to NBA here, but I think it's true. I think we see that too when he misses shots. I think you could just kind of see the demeanor on his face, and I really want. I mean, Quentin Post too, man. I think last night, I think you said it earlier. I mean, tonight was like,
He
we
missed. There was
needed
he was
him.
missed.
We
He was
needed the
missed.
spacing
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it's just shitty. It's
Where
shitty
are
loss.
you, by the way, man? I always just love hearing people's
Reading.
geographical locations.
Yeah, Reading, California.
Dude, Reading is a bitch and spa, dude. First of all, you're near what's the name of the national park? Lassen?
Yeah, Lassen.
So you're close to that. One of my an old, very close friend was from Reading, so I'd go visit him and his family a lot. And dude, the summertime in Reading is a blast. It's hot as shit, dude. It's like 120 degrees. But you got a pool going, and you're rocking and rolling. So
I'm from the Bay Area, so I went to high school in Petaluma. I lived in Vallejo, so I always commuted to Petaluma.
So how'd you end up in Reading? Is it just for cheaper housing? I don't blame you.
I went to Chico State.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
I graduated last year. Yeah, I found a job out here. Got a family.
It's a good spot, dude. It's grossly underrated in my humble opinion. And by the way, one of our official sponsors, a very new one, Decades, great band. I went to their YouTube page just the other day to hear some of their music. They are legit, and they're from Chico. So there you go. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Awesome. It's cheaper.
Well, enjoy your time in Reading. Enjoy the nice weather while it lasts, because it does get hot, as you know what, up there. Dude, thanks for coming on, man. I hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, of course. Have a good night.
Thanks for waiting. And thanks for waiting, man. That was greatly appreciated. Golden State Niner, fantastic handle as well, joined the program. I'm going to play one more sound bite, then we'll go through a brief run of the scoreboard standings, and we'll call it a night on a very brutal evening of Warriors basketball, a night where the Warriors disappointingly lost to a Spurs team they should not have lost to. Here is Stephen Curry talking about their approach. And this is also courtesy of KNBR, which means the audio levels will be good for the program. So let's listen to Stephen Curry, who does not wear his jersey typically for post-game press conferences. When he does that, that's a sign that he is perturbed as well. Normally he changes into another outfit after the game for home press conferences. Did not do that. You can tell the urgency is there. And here is Stephen Curry talking about the approach of his team.
The weight heavier on you guys to make sure everyone is ready for the next 2 games so that you guys can make the best possibility going into the play-in or playoffs, or is there no weight at all?
No, there's definitely weight, and there's been weight for a while. We understand. I mean, our record's been great in the last 20 plus games, and every one of them we felt a sense of urgency. So with 2 games left, you can kind of narrow down it's 48 minutes on Friday is going to be important. Sunday, the same. We've had a very professional approach and very consistent, level we've been playing at. Our execution tonight just wasn't great, and a good team will bounce back from it and take care of business these next 2 and then go from there. So we have to prove that we're a good team.
Sorry, I was muted there. Yes, you do. Tonight was rough. There's no way to spin that. And we'll see what happens Friday. It's the Warriors and the Portland Trailblazers in Portland. For now, though, let's see what happened in the rest of the association. And let's see what's going on with these standings and what the Warriors have to do to avoid getting into the play-in, because that is some depressing shit if that becomes reality for your Golden State Warriors. Other games in the association tonight, on Wednesday, April 9th. Time is flying, folks. Again, I'm going to skip over the non-consequential games in terms of the details. I'll just read the score. This one was not consequential. This one, I'm sorry, was consequential. Unfortunately, not in the favor of the Warriors. The Houston Rockets benched everybody. They mailed it in, which was a fear of mine, and unfortunately, that came true. DNPs for the Houston Rockets tonight included Steven Adams, included Ahmed Thompson, included Fred VanVleet, Reed Shepherd, the team's number 2 pick from a year ago, actually got minutes tonight, played 37 minutes, put up 20 points. So a great night for him. But not a great night for the Rockets. The LA Clippers win. The Clippers pretty much secure finishing ahead of the Warriors in the standings this season, no matter what, because they currently the Clippers are currently a game ahead of the Golden State Warriors, and they own the tiebreaker. So the Clippers would have to lose their next game, and then the Warriors would have to beat them Sunday in order to surpass them in the standings. And we'll go over every team's schedule as well. But that one did not work out for the Golden State Warriors. The Clippers winning to improve to 48 and 32. Elsewhere in the National Basketball Association, the Sacramento Kings could not help out the Golden State Warriors. This was at Golden One Center. There is no beam shining tonight. And of course, on a rare night where you'd want that because it would help the Warriors, of course, the little brothers lay an egg, hosting the now Mike Malone-less Denver Nuggets, 124-116, the final there. Nikola Jokic, 20 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists in his first game ever without having Mike Malone as his head coach. Zach LaVine, 27 points, 11 assists in the loss for a Sacramento Kings team that is now 39-41. Malik Monk is also out, I believe, for the year with an injury. I can't remember what the injury was. You could look it up yourself. The Denver Nuggets improved to 48-32, and that matters big time in the standings. I'll share what that means in just a second. OKC beat the Suns tonight, 125-112. The Utah Jazz beat Portland at home, 133-126 tonight. The Trailblazers are the Warriors' next opponent. The Chicago Bulls, 119-111 winners tonight over the Miami Heat. The LA Lakers and Luka Doncic's home game. Home game is not the right way to spin that. The first game back at his old home of Dallas, where they had a tribute video for him at the beginning of the game, or before the game got tipped off. He cried. Clearly, Luka Doncic had no intention of ever leaving Dallas. That whole thing is crazy. And the Lakers win tonight, 112-97. Luka had 45 points, 8 assists, 6 assists in this game. Najee Marshall, 23 points, 8 assists in the loss for a Dallas Mavericks team that drops to 39-42. The Lakers, I believe, clinch the 3 seed with this win tonight. They improved to 49-31. The Warriors, by the way, with the loss tonight, are now ineligible to win 50 games. The Toronto Raptors took care of the Charlotte Hornets tonight, 126-96. The Philadelphia 76ers beat the Washington Wizards, 122-103. And the Orlando Magic at home taking care of business, beating the Boston Celtics tonight, beating the shit out of them, 96-76. Boston held to just 76 points on the road. Something tells me they benched a lot of their players. I'm curious. I'm going to look it up real fast just to be safe. And they did. DNPs for Jaylen Brown, DNP for Jason Tatum, DNP for Derek White. I don't see Holiday in the lineup either. So Boston mailed that one in. So we look at the standings now, which have become very sketchy for the Golden State Warriors, and I'll show you what I mean in just a second here. Let me share my screen, so hopefully folks get on. Hope folks can still hear me, by the way. I need to check every now and again, make sure I'm not muted. All right, so here are the NBA standings with just 2 games to play for pretty much everybody. OKC obviously has the top seed locked up. Houston has the 2nd seed locked up. LA has the 3rd seed locked up. The Denver Nuggets are currently in 4th place at 48-32. They're tied with the Clippers who are also 48 and 32, but Denver owns the tiebreaker there. So right now, Denver is 4, LA is 5. The Memphis Grizzlies are the 6th seed with a 47 and 32 record. Those three teams are all tied in the loss column. And then the Warriors are now out of the playoffs. If the season ended today, they would be the 7 seed at 47 and 33. They're tied with the Minnesota Timberwolves in the loss column. Minnesota is a half game back because they played one less game. Good news for the Warriors. They own the tiebreak over Minnesota. So let's say if the season ended today, the Warriors would be in the play-in. Good news is if they won their first game, which would be a home game against Minnesota, they would have the rest of that week off. So 4 days, 5 days off versus a whole week. Clearly not as good, but you'll take that. So that's where the Warriors would be again if the season ended today. Apologies. Minnesota is currently your 8th seed again, and the Sacramento and Dallas are 9 and 10. So the 10 teams are set in terms of who's getting in, but we have no idea where the teams will fall. So now it comes down to schedules. Like who does each team have left? Well, the Minnesota Timberwolves, we'll start there. Minnesota has 3 games remaining, and they play the Memphis Grizzlies tomorrow. That game's going to be nationally televised on TNT. Huge stakes there for both teams. If Memphis loses, the Warriors are back into the 6th seed. So we're clearly all rooting, if you're a member of Dub Nation, that is, for the Minnesota Timberwolves to win tomorrow's game. Pivotal. Very important. And then Minnesota after that has 2 cakewalks at home against Brooklyn and the Utah Jazz. So the Warriors can afford Minnesota winning the next game because, again, the Warriors own the tiebreak there. So we are rooting for the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Memphis Grizzlies, who are the likely team that the Warriors can leapfrog in terms of finishing 6th and not 7th. The Memphis Grizzlies have 3 games remaining as well. And if there's any good news here, it's the schedule of the Memphis Grizzlies because they play Minnesota tomorrow at home. We're rooting for Minnesota. If by some chance the Grizzlies win that game, they have a game the very next night, Friday night, at Denver. So there's a very strong possibility that they'll lose one of those 2 games. We hope. The Warriors are relying on that. They need it. And then the Memphis Grizzlies finish the season Sunday at home against the Dallas Mavericks. So again, when you look at the standings, the best hope that the Warriors have is finishing as the 6th seed. It would set up a first round matchup against the Lakers. I like that matchup, side note. And then now the Clippers, who are currently the 5 seed, and they have a full game lead over the Warriors. They also own the tiebreak, but the Warriors play the Clippers on Sunday. So for the sake of argument, let's say the Clippers lose Friday. Then the Warriors can leapfrog the Clippers on Sunday, but you're counting and hoping for the Sacramento Kings to deliver. And you can't rely on that. The Clippers play Friday night at Sac. If by some miracle they lose that game, Sunday becomes a huge matchup with massive playoff implications. But again, that's going to come down to Friday night and whether or not the Sacramento Kings can upset the Clippers in Sacramento. So that's what's going on with the Clippers. They've suddenly become a very difficult team to surpass, but it's not impossible. Same goes for the Denver Nuggets, who have a 1-game lead over the Warriors. They also own the tiebreak, so they would have to lose their final 2 games, while the Warriors would have to win their final 2 games in order to leapfrog them. And Denver's final 2 games of the season, Friday, they host the Memphis Grizzlies, and then Sunday, they're at Houston. So it's not an impossible idea. It's not the most improbable concept, but the odds are stacked against Denver losing both those games. So when we look at what this is basically going to come down to here, is the Warriors have to hope and pray the Memphis Grizzlies lose one of their next 3 games. If Memphis wins out, the Warriors are effed. Plain and simple. Any questions from anyone before we go? Just want to check real fast. Young Wes. Yes, this is a possibility. Klay Thompson versus the Warriors in a plan. I don't want to see that at all. I don't want to see the Warriors in any scenario where it's a single elimination. I will also say this. If the Warriors end up being a play-in team and they get bounced, yeah, you'll see a version of me that was akin to Sunday again. I promise you that. I don't think I'm going to be able to keep my calm and stay composed if the Warriors don't even make the playoffs. Major Powers writing, even though I blame Kerr for everything, not everything. I give him his credit for certain situations. You still appreciate me. Thank you, brother. Thank you very much. I'll take that compliment. Thank you. And we shall see. So Young West 79 saying, I'll go nuts if we get bounced. Not a Gain 90 saying anything is possible with Steve Kerr. Bree CS writing, it's so sad that the Warriors had a chance to get the 4 seed. They actually had a chance to get the 3 seed, as crazy as that sounds. And then they collapsed. It is sad. Well, the good news is this wild roller coaster of a season is slowly coming to an end here. And the Warriors will, at a bare minimum, be in the play-in. So they're going to have some action next week. And again, if the season ended today, the Warriors would host the Minnesota Timberwolves in a play-in matchup between the 7 and 8 seeds. If the Warriors win that game, they would get, I think, 4 or 5 days off and travel to Houston for a 7-game series against the Rockets. If the Warriors lose that game to this hypothetical matchup, to the Minnesota Timberwolves, let's say they're the 7 seed, they're a play-in team, and they end up playing Minnesota in the first round at home in a single elimination, not single elimination, I'm sorry, but in a matchup between 7 and 8, they would be playing the game in San Francisco. If the Warriors lose that game, they would then play the winner of the 9 and 10 seeds. That would be Sacramento and Dallas. And this is where the Klay Thompson hypothetical would suddenly become a reality. And this is a scary thought. Do you really want the Warriors to be in a single elimination? This game would be played probably Wednesday or Thursday of next week against the Mavericks. Like, do you really want the season to be on the line against Anthony Davis, Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively II, Klay Thompson coming back home? I mean, talk about the worst case scenario. That's probably it. That is probably it. A lot of people in the chat saying they don't trust Kerr. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. And then you have Capone White. And I hope you're right, brother. I felt this way just a week ago. I was foolish in thinking that Kerr would not step over his own feet. But Capone White saying nothing is going to stop Stephen Curry from getting his 5th ring. I hope you're right. And I will mark your words. Again, I'm getting a goddamn Steve Kerr tattoo if that happens. All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Sincerely. I wish the outcome was better. That sucked. There's no way to spin that. I don't know if there's going to be a show tomorrow. Stay tuned for that. Follow me on the socials. I usually announce that stuff there. But worst case scenario, absolute latest. Join us Friday night. Warriors at Portland. Massive must-win game. And let's hope they turn it around. Oof. That's craziness. All right, folks. Thank you, everyone, again. Misery loves company. At least we're going through this together. So thank you for that. And we'll be back at this soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.